Earlier, the last two times I did it, it
You want
didn't
to stay
go
there?
right.
Move down. Okay, if you move
Oh,
down.
yeah.
that's fine.
Sorry, wherever's comfortable.
Yeah. Right here?
Yeah.
I didn't move you there.
I don't know where I'm at.
Well, I messed up that one.
That's what's on the
For sure.
Don't stop.
I want to hear that after I get the burger from you.
Huh? Well, I didn't hear you. What did you say?
I said, I don't want to hear that after I just ate a burger from you.
It was covered up. I took my gloves off and the Band-Aid went with it. Okay. That was a burger.
Fantastic.
We
Now
tried.
you know why.
Yeah.
It's been nuts. My glasses, I forgot them here. It's all being braille. What else is new? How are you doing, Andy?
I'm good. How yourself? How about yourself?
Wednesdays are always wonderful.
Are they
Third Wednesday every month.
Take some sarcasm in there a little bit, or
Huh?
is there some sarcasm in there, or is it really wonderful?
I had a car show too.
Oh, wow. You're busy.
It was good. I didn't get to see them. How were the cars?
The ones that were there were nice.
Yeah, I mean,
It really increased.
Yeah,
Laura said
I mean-
that. She said it was very slow at first, but they just kept showing up and there was almost 20.
The only one that disappointed the truck did it had a thing that sits on the paint and sound or whatever. And I'm like, have it open and have it going. And
Yeah.
it's got,
Yeah,
it's
show
got,
it.
yep, sensor, you can touch start, the door will open, sensor in the back.
All right, I'd like to call the meeting to order. We have 6:30. Aaron, posting of the meeting? Oh, you need to roll.
All right, Barth, here. Mueller is not present, nor is White. Hinderman here. Cole.
Here.
Bowden,
Yes.
and Andrew's not present.
Yes, so notices were posted at both schools, sent to Village of Dickeyville and to the City Hall and members of the media yesterday, Tuesday, June 18th.
So our first order of business then is to approve the consent agenda. Everything there is listed.
Yep, we do have some of these. Tina, after we're done with this, do you want to do yours or do you want to wait till after Nancy's done to present?
More flexible.
Okay, you're going to be here the whole time anyway.
Correct, yep.
So that's the library plan. Every 3 years, we have to do a library plan. They'll present on that. They did put a lot of work into that. So everything else is laid out.
Chris, or 300.
Anything else want to be pulled for discussion on that?
I did want to discuss KLM, but after, I think I understand now that this will be further discussed later at the end of the summer.
So
So
I explained to Angie our exit interview process.
I can't see.
All right, may I have a motion then to approve the consent agenda?
I'll second. I'll second.
All right, I'm gonna give it to Dan and Chuck. All right, Barth,
Thanks.
yes,
Hinderman, yes. Cole,
Yes.
Bowden,
Yes.
motion carried.
Aaron, the administrative reports.
Chris, you're up first.
All right, so congratulations to our softball team on a tremendous run this season, making the first ever in our school history trip to state. They certainly made everyone here proud. Thank you to Angie Davis, Tina Burkett, Pam Trennell, and Julie Kaiser. They, along with myself, have worked to make Cuba City High School a part of the Direct Admit Wisconsin program. Direct Admit Wisconsin is an initiative by the Universities of Wisconsin to proactively offer admission to qualifying high school students in between their junior and senior years of high school. Direct admission removes the traditional application process and instead uses data provided by the high school to admit students to universities. Parents have to opt in to be a part of the program, but then it is available to all of our students. And currently all UW students are participating in direct admit with the exception of UW-Madison and UW-La Crosse. We will have our very first group of students participating this school year. And it's part of Act 95, if you follow that, but it's just to increase our attendance at the universities. FFA students are attending the state convention in Madison. Braden Ems, Ethan Carius, Zoe Yos, Lucas Toma, Lydia Traister Morgan, and Nolan Van Scandal will all represent Cuba City. Andy Miller will be competing to move on to the national level in a discussion meet. We've had a flurry of students in the building with driver's education, summer credit recovery, basketball camp, volleyball camp, and band lessons all happening. Thank you to the teachers and coaches for their extra summertime efforts. Huge shout out to our custodial staff as they've moved swiftly through the high school. They're doing an amazing job of cleaning and working quickly while doing so. Along that same lines, I want to welcome Mr. Cameron Handy as our new Building and Grounds Director. I've seen him around quite a bit, although I haven't really had much time to talk with him because he's been very busy getting acquainted with the facilities and staff. Would also like to welcome Mr. Jason Holzmer and Ms. Whitney Casper. Even though they don't officially begin their new positions for a few weeks, I've seen both of them involved with all that is going on with summer school. And finally, I just want to thank Chief Terpstra, Sergeant Lovell, and Officer Jorgensen. They helped do a safety assessment. We walked through the school, identified areas that we need to improve with our school safety plans. And this is going to be, we decided this is going to be an ongoing process through our building project. But then we will, once the construction is completed, we are going to make this a yearly event as school safety continues to be a top priority. That's all I've got.
Thank you, Chris.
All right, I'm up. School perception update. We had a great return on our survey. Surveys closed last week, Monday, June 17th. We had 579 surveys submitted. In 2022, the last time we used them, we had 559 surveys. So we had more surveys turned in this time. They'll take a couple weeks to analyze the information, and then they would like to present that to us at the July 17th board meeting. FEMA update. This morning, Wednesday, we heard from our contacts at Wisconsin Emergency Management, and we've received word that the federal FEMA office would like to schedule a meeting next week with Jordan Buss, our grant writer, and myself to go through the project. So we're excited about some movement, but I don't have any information on anything else besides that at this time. We're just trying to schedule a meeting for next week. Regarding building progress, while we're unable to put a shovel in the ground for the gym box until we get the go ahead from FEMA, we're looking at expanding the parking lot along School Street this summer. Our hope is that we get word from FEMA shortly and we can begin tearing up the high school parking lot to make way for the footings foundations before snowball, but that's still in question. Once we hear from FEMA, our architects will need roughly 60 days to redesign the space. Then we'll need the 30 days to get the bids ready to go out, another 30 days to send the bids out and get them back. So as you can see, it's already getting tight to have all that done before the first snowfall. So if we have to wait too much longer on FEMA, all that will be pushed back to the spring of 2025. As a reminder, there's a federal law that says schools can only collect interest on borrowed money for referendum for 3 years. So November 22 is when that started. We've got 3 years to have that money spent down so that we don't collect any interest. And we've gotten the proper approval because of FEMA to go beyond that 3 years. So what that means is there's a set amount that we would get for interest. Every cent that we get in interest past that amount has to be returned to the IRS. So apparently a long time ago, a school took out a big loan for a referendum and then took their time in planning it because they were making so much in interest. And so now there's something that says you can't do that. So after 3 years, it will still be collecting interest, but all of that has to go to the IRS. So just to let you know about that. And summer school is well on their way. We have a total of 295 students participating in our summer school program, the highest number since I've been here. A big thank you goes out to our summer school coordinators, Jesse Nard, Jessica Bucher, for their organization efforts, and to our summer school staff for providing fun, engaging activities for our students this summer. And Mr. Holzmer, who hasn't started yet, but hasn't missed a day of summer school. So we appreciate that as well.
And how many weeks is the summer school in Kansas City?
It's 5 weeks.
5
and it's
weeks.
4 days a week.
Fantastic.
That's it.
All right,
We
thank
didn't
you.
have anybody for public information.
So date and time of the July meeting set for July 17th. Is that good with everyone? So we don't need a motion on that, is that correct, Aaron?
Well, I think school perceptions asked if we could move that up an hour. So from 6:30 to 5:30 because they have multiple meetings that night. So they asked if we could have that at 5:30. So would 5:30 work on July 17th? There is one conflict. There's the Dickeyville Community Night. What is the title of that?
It's at Dickeyville Community Park, but yeah, just at the park in the park, yeah.
Just at the community market meet too. I mean, Chuck, the community
Yeah.
will miss you cooking, but I don't wanna
Yeah, because
double book you.
I was behind when I left. I says, good luck, boys. When we roll. I mean, yeah,
Do we
Five.
want to go a different night or
Could we go a different night? Could we go Tuesday night? Rather than Wednesday?
Tuesday, the 16th?
Yeah.
If we want to look at our calendars.
You know,
During the summer, it's a little easier to try to,
right,
Shift
so,
things.
you know, because I mean, if Dickie was gonna, well, we don't wanna.
I would just say, oops, my light's on. If we're moving it, any representation we can have with the Dickeyville Community Park might be really good as we're in the referendum phases. So
Yeah.
if you
if
see
we
board
could do it
members
in
there, would be
Dickeyville,
great.
It would be
So-
good.
16th would be better for me than moving it to the 24th, a week later.
You know, if we could move to Dickeyville, if they got something going on, that'd be ideal. You know, somebody else can cook. I mean, it's not the end of the world.
I could also do the 16th, but I don't know if then we need to check with school perceptions on it, if they can
Once
still do
Dickeyville's,
5:30 on the 16th.
well,
If you're
still.
presenting.
If we do it
I said time to make it sure.
Okay.
We can only change the date at meetings.
Okay.
So we can't,
Harold?
tomorrow,
Sure.
tell them this is the night we're doing that, or we'd have to do it as a special.
Okay.
That would be an option.
We've got to touch base.
So should we go Tuesday, the 16th?
I think
Yeah.
that'd be great,
Yeah.
because then are they gonna present on the survey outcomes? So that would give us a better indication to where we're sitting, and I think
Yeah.
that would be,
The
that'd be great.
16th at 5:30, Aaron, or 6:30? For school
Either
perception.
one's fine.
5:30 is fine if they have the issue with the time. I
Yeah.
don't have a problem with
5:30?
5:30.
5:30?
Got it.
See if I can remember that.
So to be official, I move to approve the July regular board meeting for Wednesday, July 16th at 5:30 PM.
It's the open thing. Come on, say it.
Do we have a second?
I will second.
Barth,
Yes,
Hinderman, yes. Cole,
Yes.
Bowden,
Yes.
motion carried.
Hold on. See if that's part of it.
B is approve the Neola policy updates. The policy committee met tonight, right before our meeting to go through those. There are no local recommendations. These are all 100% from Neola. And the committee recommended that we move forward with approving all of these policies.
Would someone like to move?
I'll move to approve the Neola policy updates as presented.
I second.
Barth,
Yes,
Hinderman, yes. Cole,
Yes.
Bowden,
Yes.
motion carried.
Next one is approve the vendor for a 3-year bid. Every 3 years, we put this out to bid. We usually send this out to all 4 of our banks. We sent it out to all 4. We got 3 bids back. We received them from Mountain City Bank, Midwest One Bank, and People's State Bank. And after reading through all of those, I recommend selecting Mountain City Bank as our financial institution for the next 3 years, beginning July 1. In their proposal, they waived all fees. People's State Bank still charges the district for checks and for wire transfers, and ACH, Midwest One Bank charges the district for wire transfers and ACH and any stop payments. So Mountain City Bank waived all of those fees, and it just made sense to go with that.
Any questions or discussion on that? I will move to approve the bid for Mountain City Bank as our primary bank for 3 years.
a second.
Barth,
Yes,
Hinderman, yes. Cole,
Yes.
Bowden,
Yes.
motion carried.
Next, we have the middle school, high school academic career plan, the ACP, and Nancy's here to present that for us.
So ACP stands for Academic Career Plan, and it is a plan that our districts are required to have across the state. They have to be accepted by the end of this month, so that's, thanks for making time for us. Basically, it's something that you can, the students can go through and figure out earlier what they want to go into after high school. So then they're taking the right path of classes. So I just want to show you how to get to the website. I think you had the plan, right, Sent? So you just have to go to the More and Resources off of the website, and it's under Academic Career Planning. This is the plan that you had before you, and these are some pathways that are already created. They came as a region, so I'll just bring up the education because it's one of the newest ones. So as a region, southwest corner of Wisconsin, we all have the same for the front. So students can go in there and click on any of the blue links and find out about all these different jobs. And then the second page is set up that's personalized to Cuba City, and it tells them which classes they need to take to prepare for those fields. So it's pretty slick. It's a great way to move around. And then the bottom one, this is a list of all the youth apprentice programs that we have. So we can offer all of these to our students. One that's pretty common now, we have, so just within the mental health field, I have all these different options. So the kids can link on them and find out what kind of skills would I be checking off at the work site. So it's all right there, everything, preparing them, trying to get them ready for life beyond high school. So they're not going to a 4-year college and realize, oh, I could have done this with a 2-year degree and saved the money, kind of things, so.
Sorry, there was a drop
Okay,
in the
it's
vent.
Okay.
I got momentarily distracted.
Is that a spider or
I
something?
apologize.
Where's coming down here? Mhm.
At least we're not.
It's just like,
Not
move
tripping.
the left.
Okay.
Sorry about that.
That's okay. That's okay. So short and sweet. That's it. And I just wondered if you had any other questions.
I just have one. So
Sure.
how often, I mean, obviously career paths change, you know that. So how often is this revisited with the students? Do they do it yearly, quarterly, semester?
The counselor meets with them at different times. I think each year she tries to meet with them.
And to review the
Yeah,
career plans
just
that
kind of-
changes and then kind
yep.
of helps direct them to other courses. that they
Right.
can-
And the whole idea, like within our plan, well, let me go back to that you saw. The kids are exploring. So we do have an elementary component there as well.
Yeah.
So they're kind of exploring to see what's out there and what they can go into. And Zello is set up that any of the teachers, we're hoping, and that's what makes it a whole plan for the district, is that it's not just a CTE and a counselor that have to do it. It should be everybody pitching in, math. Oh, what kind of careers are in math? Or what kind of careers are in the foreign languages? Or what kind, just all kinds of things. So that's the whole idea with the plan, is that everybody pitches in. And they can kind of change their plans wherever. I guess what really gets me is for a CTE coordinator at the end in graduation, we're seeing if they were a concentrator, if they had 2 or more classes in that field they want to go into. And I'm seeing kids wanting to become a restaurant owner. And it's like, I didn't have you in any foods classes. Oh, I just decided, it's like,
Yeah.
okay. But, it's nice that they have some thought into their future. And I think that's what's helping this, is they're deciding, oh yeah, that's what I want to do.
And our group is working on this plan because we feel that we need to do a better job with that.
Housekeeping and
Yes.
keeping.
And that's the group.
And they go
Yep.
into the, and I'm sorry, this is just my
That's
own
okay,
curiosity,
yeah.
but then when they get to the high school level, do they go into the classes then? Does somebody go in and work with groups of
Yep.
students on their plans? So
And then as juniors, they do a huge career, college and career paper.
you just kind
so,
of bring
yep.
them up.
And the kind of the final thing they do in 8th grade is a career.
Yep.
Yeah, their career.
Their career exploration, yep.
Yeah.
And then every other year we have the career fair, which is great. You have 80
Mhm.
professionals in our building.
Yeah.
and yeah, it's just fantastic to see the energy. Because sometimes the kids are like, oh, I got to sit. And I'm like, oh, but it's exploring a lot of different professions that they hadn't thought of. And again, you've probably heard it, a lot of the jobs that are freshmen, incoming freshmen, those careers haven't been invented yet, haven't been created yet, because technology and everything in life is just changing so much, so quick. So we are working on this more this year. I don't know, this past year was just like, whew, crazy gone. So hopefully this year we'll meet as a team a couple times throughout the year and update it, and again, encourage teachers, all the other teachers, to use Zello and try to get more exposure to the different careers in their areas. Science, oh my gosh, it's unlimited on how many science jobs that are out there. So it's just a full school push here, try to get them on the right path. And, we're not trying to tunnel people. Oh, if you're going to become in construction, you can only have Mr. Kopp's classes. You can, we just want to make sure that they're ready, and it's anywhere within the clusters, because these are all based on career clusters that are out there.
And Nancy does a fantastic job with this program.
Thank you. Jean.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
All right.
Thank you.
We have a motion to approve the ACP plan as presented.
I'll move to approve the CCMS HS ACP plan, ACP as presented.
I'll second.
Barth,
Yes.
Kinderman, yes. Poll,
Yes.
Bowden,
Yes.
motion carried.
And then while we have this up here,
Is that all right, or do you want us to wait?
no, you go ahead.
Let's
We've
go.
got the library plan. Go through that.
This is just we have to do it every 3 years. DPI you have to approve it here, and then it has to go to DPI, so we have to get it into their logbook. Basically, our plan overview is here, and we have 3 goals. So if you're aware of the Common School Funds, which has been growing awesomely the last couple of years. So Common School Funds is how we fund everything in the library. So pretty much anything that is library-based comes out of Common School Funds.
That's directly resulted in kids using it. Like, we can't buy furniture with it. So it's all the other stuff, like books, databases, anything like that.
So we've been kind of trying to ramp up our book collection, our maker space. We bought some really fun things. I can't wait to unbox.
So we've been adding to our databases that we have for the students to use.
For research and make sure they're getting good, reliable resources. Getting into some coding. We started even with some first graders this year, which was super fun. So that's our first goal, is just to make sure that we're enhancing our library with our Common School Funds, so our budget, and then collaborative leadership, working with staff, making sure that they understand our resources. So we've been working on that this summer, just working with people and getting into the classrooms. That's goal number 2. And then our third goal is just to make sure that we have an up-to-date collection, and then it's diverse and it's inclusive. As you know, that's kind of a big deal right now, so we're trying to make sure that we're doing a good job with that. So those are our 3 goals. It's pretty elaborate. There's how many wedges? 8?
8, yeah.
8 wedges. So we have all the wedges, but we're not going to go through them. You have the plan, but we have what we're going to do for each wedge. But these are our 3 main goals.
Yeah, these were the 3 we thought were the most important to focus on.
Thank you for your efforts in this. I know that's not easy, so we appreciate it.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you very much for everything you do.
Next action item is approval of the suspension of district share of college for virtual courses and off-site regular education courses and programs. So this was something that came about due to the budgetary cuts that we had talked about before, but this will take away Edmentum. And then there are some courses the state says schools have to pay, like College Up, and there's some that if high school kids want to take this, we have to pay for it. This is the anything that isn't part of that, where the district said, okay, well, we do this for College Up or ECCP, so we'll do the same thing for this program. Now that's just going to be parent funded through budget cuts. Any questions on that? Okay.
I will move to approve the suspension of district share of college or virtual courses and off-site regular education courses and programs as presented.
I'll second.
Barth,
Yes.
Kinderman, yes. Poll,
Yes.
Bowden,
Yes.
motion carried.
Next one is approve the 4K community partnership contract with Country Care. This kind of changes just the rental agreement that we have with Country Care. This was brought up by Ms. Pitson. We kind of used her numbers and we appreciate her coming up with this solution, but keep the 4K as it was. And we did also put in there that if the state does go from 0.6 FTE to 1.0 FTE, that it's going to go back to the original agreement. So this is just those with her suggested changes, which we think is going to be a cost savings, and we appreciate that from Gail and Country Care.
We have a motion for that?
I move to approve the 4K community partnership with Country Care as presented.
I will second. Barth,
Yes.
Kinderman, yes. Poll,
Yes.
Bowden,
Yes.
motion carried.
Then we'll go through some handbook items here. Let me get to mine. This is always the interesting part of our June and July meetings. So the Cuba City District Handbook, if we look at that on page 1, we just have some title changes. We just said, okay, we don't call it this, we call it that. Instead of kitchen manager, we say food service director. So those are just some name changes. Next one is tuition reimbursement. This came from the budget cuts, just taking out language about tuition reimbursement. This is for both 1A employees, this is for administrators and for certified staff. The next one is the alternate benefit plan. This would be changing the cash in lieu of from 4,000 to 2,000. And that's something that we've talked about before. That has the potential to save more or less. It's really dependent on when people change. They can change either in the summer or they can change at semester. So that's something different. So this could save more or it could save less. This is a benefit that went away from a lot of schools with Act 10 that we were able to keep. And again, we're not cutting this for any other reason than the community voted no in a referendum and said we need to save money. So this was potential cost savings for that. And then the next ones are the curriculum director, curriculum lead positions. It says temporarily suspend these positions because if a referendum did pass, we would bring these back and reinstitute these. And that's everything in the district handbook. So any questions on any district handbook items?
Do we have any idea who's gonna sign up for what July 1 or not, Aaron? As far as reimbursement, or if we're gonna lose or?
Yes.
Even?
Yep. They have till July 1 to do that.
I know, but we don't have any idea where that's gonna wash out at.
Right now, there have been very few changes.
Okay.
I think Heather told me today that there were 2 changes from one to the other.
Okay.
If there are
No
no questions,
questions? I'll move to approve the changes in the Cuba City School District Handbook as presented.
I will second. Barth,
Yes.
Hinderman, yes. Poole,
Yes.
Bowden,
Yes.
motion carried.
Next one is elementary student handbook, parent handbook. And these were done by Troy, and then Jesse actually had some ideas too. Jason had not started, but we do appreciate that he's been here so much. So next year he'll probably have some to change too. But looking at this, a lot of them were just, changes in names. So the first one, page 1, Jason wrote that welcome letter actually today, so that's ready to go in there. We did number 2, or page 2. These are all the name changes that will go. Some we'll put the new calendar in there. Response to intervention, which we've used a lot. RTI is now just has a new name, multi-tiered system supports MTSS. And then there's some different changes here. Just kind of there's no like policy or procedure changes, it's just language changes. And bus riders, we're changing pronouns from singular to plural. One that both Troy and Jesse said they really wanted to change was, instead of saying specifically cell phones, they said, can we change it to personal electronic device? Because a lot of kids started to wear watches and they would text with their watches. So that's really the only change that wasn't a name, is adding in personal electronic devices instead of those. So that's everything for the elementary school. Any questions?
Would someone like to move?
I'll move to approve the changes made to the Cuba City Elementary School Student Handbook.
I will second. Barth,
Yes.
Hinderman, yes. Poole,
Yes.
Bowden,
Yes.
motion carried.
Next one is middle school student handbook. I'll have Chris take that one.
Okay, so middle school, kind of the same. We've got current staff going to be updated on the first page. We're changing some names. The Family and Consumer Education is now known as Family and Consumer Sciences. Updating the calendar. We are removing keyboarding for 7th grade. It's listed in there. The keyboarding happens at a much earlier age than 7th grade now, so we don't do that. We've got Deb and Troy were listed as the compliance officers for a lot of things, and so Whitney and myself we're just changing names there. The one major thing that's happening with both of the middle school and high school, I met with Carrie Lawson and Jacob Glennon, our activities directors, and we had some issues this year that came up where we had middle school students that are currently serving some sanction for activities, but then they come to high school and do we wipe it out, or do we where we're at? So we've come up with some bridge language. It's basically saying anybody that's serving something in 8th grade will be reviewed by the high school athletic or activities director and principal. We will determine where we want to go with that, depending on what the situation is. They will then serve that, and then upon serving whatever that is determined, they will start fresh as a, so there will still be some carryover.
We talked about that, and a lot of bigger schools where there's multiple middle schools, and they might have different codes going to a high school, that makes sense. But ours were just going down the hallway, so if it would have been a suspension in 8th grade to carry into to 9th grade, or if it would have been from 9th grade to 10th grade, it should probably be from 8th grade to 9th grade as well.
And then the bell schedule. So that's it for the middle school. And then do you want me to do the high school and at the same?
We have to.
We got to approve the middle
Overlay.
school, yeah.
Approve it.
So do we have any questions for Chris?
Mm-mm.
If not, we can move.
I will move to approve the changes made in the Cuba City Middle School Student Handbook as presented.
I will second.
Barth,
Yes.
Kinderman, yes. Poole,
Yes.
Bowden,
Yes.
motion carried.
Now high school.
Okay, high school, ditto. It really is a lot of the same things. It's changing family and consumer education to consumer sciences, updating the bell schedule, the calendar, changing the compliance officers. And then we also added some language in. It looks different because the two activities look different. But it's the exact same language, just it's stating that any student that's serving something from middle school is going to be looked at when they get to high school.
Any other questions on that then? If not, I will move to approve the changes made in the Cuba City High School Student Handbook as presented.
I'll second.
Barth,
Yes.
Kinderman, yes. Poole,
Yes.
Bowden,
Yes.
motion carried.
Next one is the elementary school professional guidelines. Now, before we had passed everything for students, this is more staff related. And on page 2 here, we've got name changes as well. At 4 o'clock, this is just some suggested language change for the people who handle the subbing. It basically just says notification of absences shall be done by 6 o'clock a.m., no later than 6:45, if not known the previous day. That just allows us more time to be able to try to secure a sub. When people call at 7:30 and say, I can't come in, that really puts Jesse and Julie in a hard place, and then our students suffer. Mileage reimbursement just kind of clarifies when you're supposed to turn that in. And then again, with cell phones, we put in their personal electronic devices, and everything else is just clarification, so no other changes. Any questions on the elementary professional guidelines? And if you thought that was short, wait till you see the middle school, high school professional. That's even shorter.
So can I have a motion then?
I move to approve the changes made with the CCES professional guidelines as presented.
I will second. Barth,
Yes.
Kinderman, yes. Poole,
Yes.
Bowden,
Yes.
motion carried.
Chris?
Okay, so the middle school, high school professional guidelines, the only change that we had, there was an old behavior management form that was in there. Everything is now a part of Power School. The form is really a part of Power School now. So we just thought we would take that form out of the handbook and then just get rid of it.
Less paper.
Yep.
Clean the map. There are no questions, we have a motion.
I move to approve the changes made by the CCMS HS professional guidelines as presented.
I will second.
Barth,
Yes.
Kinderman, yes. Poole,
Yes.
Bowden,
Yes.
motion carried.
All right, and then we have some hires for personnel. First is approve the hiring of 4K teacher, Ms. Cassie Ripertella, who's here tonight. We had these interviews last week, brought in our top 3 candidates to teach our 4K summer school class. We always think when we have the opportunity to bring in teachers to teach our kids about that age is the best way to interview. It's not a candidate sitting around the table. It's put them in where the kids are, and had a lot of great people, a lot of great teachers come in there, and Cassidy was the choice that we were recommending.
Any other questions? Not, I will move to approve the hiring of Miss Cassidy Ripertella as a 4K teacher at CCES. as presented.
I will second. Barth,
Yes.
Hinderman, yes. Poole,
Yes.
Bowden,
Yes.
motion carried.
Come on board.
The next one, I'm gonna let Chris take this one, because this one's creative.
Yeah. So, Mr. Kendi, resigned, and a very unique position in the fact that he teaches Spanish and science. We had Miss Jenna Goody she's going to be student teaching with us in Spanish, but when we did a little background on her, we found out that she was formerly a biology major. And so we talked with her and then did some talking with the university and got approval. She's going to work in the form of an intern for us for the first semester. She will be doing student teaching with both Laura Wilberding and Carolyn Timmerman as her supervisors. Mr. Tim Hazen's actually going to be her supervisor. And then if things are going well, we would then look to, and she has already been a part of this discussion too, that we would actually fill that position with her at semester when she graduates.
And then she would be able to get that science license.
Yeah, she would have to, yep. So for the first semester, she would work as an intern. We'd be looking at paying her $4,500.
Because that's what,
That's the intern rate.
that's what DPI rate is.
And then, look at offering her a contract in December or for January.
Any questions?
Nothing besides, thank you for being so lucky.
Yeah.
Because it's just such a hard position to fill.
Saw a unicorn walking through the hallway and through a rope.
Historic, how did we end up with 50% foreign language?
So I actually talked with Carolyn about that. Carolyn, I think it was approached about, she had, I think she had the science part of it.
Yeah.
And then had to take some Spanish classes to satisfy, and she found out she was so close that she would just get the Spanish degree as well. And then was offered this here, and it just, again, worked out for her, but it's been very difficult to fill since she left it.
Sure. Yeah, because I appreciate having a creative solution, but we may be having to get creative very, very often. Well, hopefully not. Hopefully not. I take that back.
Miss Goody has actually, she's very excited about this. She's reached out to me once to get in here and look at the room, and I'm like, well, we're waxing that hallway this week, but next week, so.
Do I have a motion then?
I will move to approve the hiring of high school science and Spanish teacher, Miss Jenna Goody, as presented.
I will second.
Barth,
Yes.
Hinderman, yes. Poole,
Yes.
Bowden,
Yes.
motion carried.
Next is approve the hiring of elementary school paraeducator Annalie Reidel, who has many years as an educational paraeducator at a neighboring school. And we had an interview, brought in 3 applicants, and we're recommending that we approve Annalie.
Any questions or discussion? I will move to approve the hiring of CCES paraeducator Annalie Riedel as presented.
I will second. Barth,
Yes.
Hinderman, yes. Poole,
Yes.
Bowden,
Yes.
motion carried.
As far as committee reports, budget finance, we haven't met since January. We'll likely meet again in August or September. Buildings and grounds, I think we're gonna have a meeting coming up in the next couple of weeks. We have some trees that are in rough shape. We have some trees that we think we want to cut down. And then whenever we cut a tree down, we always like to put one up. And I'd rather bring this to the buildings and grounds committee, just kind of walk the grounds, take a look at the trees, and then have some ideas, knowing with what building projects are coming up, where we should put those replacement trees. So that was something that Cameron and Adam came to me with this last week, and I said we'll have a buildings and grounds meeting for that. Personnel, nothing at this time. Policy, we met tonight. Tech and transportation, no plans to meet for that. And then foundation, we usually meet in August. and Gary doesn't have a season 3.
Aaron, I got a question. Buildings and grounds, is there anything else we need to address with the new gentleman or?
I had asked them for anything else, because I said, if we're gonna meet, I'd like to have, trees are important, but I wanna, if you have a list, let's go through
Right,
that.
you know.
They
yeah.
didn't know yet, but if you have anything, as the
I
building
mean,
grounds
just talk
chair,
to somebody and talk to him, just,
yeah, if you have any other, like, items that you wanna talk about, though, let me know, because,
yeah, maintenance.
well, those are probably things that you know better than the
Right.
committee, that you
Absolutely,
can
but
do that.
I would like to touch base with him and just, just be cordial and
Yeah.
just do
Yeah,
it.
anytime you can do that.
All right, just so I, just so I don't step on any toes. But I mean, I'd like to get acquainted and just see
Yep.
what he knows, what he doesn't know, or just try and help him. I mean, that's the cheapest money we can spend. And
All right.
hopefully it works.
If we don't have any, we have a motion to adjourn.
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
I will second. All in favor?
Aye.
All right, thank you all very much, appreciate it. Oh, yes, you have your scholarship dollars.
Okay, mine was